This is reality.
What sort of effects have you got?
I don't know. This is some night vision effect. This is not my camera. I keep on borrowing equipment to put this fucking documentary together. So I hope you like it now, because all this documentary is made with zero budget, krona or euro.
Terrible thing.
Absolutely.
He wishes to make war. He refuses to work with protecting the environment. He refuses to make the banning the biological weapons.
I am suing the President of the United States, George Bush, Vice President Cheney, former President Bush, and 53 other defendants for treason and murder.
Very dramatic situation will come. Very dramatic. Who will win? As we have men as Bush.
Yeah.
It's incredible, and the whole mankind does not rebel. I am absolutely sure it's not his mind, it's behind what is behind.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
His mind is too stupid.
Yes.
It's only
Yeah.
speaks what the people
Marionette.
think behind.
Marionette.
It is industry, it is the oil companies and all the business people, they say, that is, he says, we cannot follow this international convention to protect nature because that would be bad for our business.
So you should look at it. Why we fight. Very powerful, but Eisenhower comes out looking like a person who is very committed to peace and someone who is giving strong, severe warnings to Congress and to industry about what the path that they want to take.
Bush is in town and there's a demonstration tomorrow against him.
Yeah.
You will be going there?
Absolutely.
That Afghanistan was bombarded and my son took refuge in the neighboring country, which is Pakistan. He was taken by American CIA agents, badly tortured for the crime which he never committed. He was not told why he is being arrested, and for about 1 year continuously tortured.
Imagine, such a terrible man.
What is a terrorist?
The United States is the greatest rogue state. The United States is a terrorist state on a huge scale. But you're right, it's so big we call it something else, because we can't face the thought that Vietnam was a terrorist attack by the United States on innocent people.
And in Guantanamo Bay, what has happened is not known to anybody. Muslim was kept in a closed cage in solitary confinement on his own.
America is supposed to be the land of freedom, but
2006, this whole political thing is pretty much going to explode.
power and greed.
This controversial knowledge is not going to be so controversial anymore. It's going to be very mainstream.
Colin Powell's son, FCC, and the banned 150 peace songs like Imagine from the radio in America.
I didn't even know that, but...
Imagine
if you compare this with like burning books in Nazi Germany, is there a difference? Or?
No, but I mean, the United States crossed that line a long time ago when no one was aware of it.
His wife didn't phone the police and say, hey man, my husband's smoking cannabis. She gets done for conspiracy as well. The wife is serving 11 years. 11 years just for being his wife.
You only smoke the female plant.
Cannabis is, besides being good for the physical body for many illnesses, it's also a spiritual tool.
And now we're gonna meet Roy, a former band member of the group. Rednecks.
People that use drugs are seen as very bad people, and this is just a thought pattern that has been indoctrinated in I think every citizen in the world, that if you're a drug user, you're per definition you're a bad person. And yeah, I think it first of all it has a lot of things connected to that, because first of all, when you want to experiment with drugs when you are young, you are already fearful of it, you know, because it is something that you shouldn't do. And when you touch drugs in that way, with that belief, it can be very negative to use drugs. You can flip out, you can lose yourself, you can totally freak.
The beginning of religion lies in the usage of mind-expanding plants. I was interested in this, so I traveled to Brazil.
This is only one thing, but also most people that use drugs are actually very clever people, because they have seen into these other realities. They have looked further than what is just here, and then when they, you know, when they tell other people about that, and they have this bad image in mind, you know, it's hard to, you cannot get through, because yeah, you're drug users.
Here at this tropical paradise, Boom Festival, what do you want to say to the public?
No, you can't have a festival like Boom in Stockholm.
No, in Sweden you can have festivals where everything has wheels beneath. So you can drive it off the area on less than 2 minutes in case someone calls that the cops are coming around the corner.
I heard it was one group in Stockholm, Antelope, and when they were playing they were stopped by the police and told to play pop music instead.
It's fear of the unknown.
Psychoactive substances have been used for the entire duration of human history, for as long as we know. The roots of psychology lie within shamanism, the ancient medicine then. Different forms of shamanism, not all, but some forms of shamanism utilize different herbs, as shamans believe within that form that everything has a spirit. There's a spirit within a tree, as within a blade of grass, or within a plant, or
life force, life energy.
So certain spirits have been found to produce certain effects within our consciousness. For example, as magic mushroom psilocybin, or within the Yaqui Indian tradition, which is well known through Carlos Castaneda, peyote, ginseng weed, ayahuasca, South American. But anyway, various psychoactive substances which give us an experience of a non-normal reality, an experience of being outside of the reality. Certain healers I've worked with in Australia explain that everything which we experience is actually cosmic energy interpreted through various senses, various filters, various programs within inside our minds. And I was explained earlier, actually, that not so long ago, that the reason why some individuals have experiences identical to quasi-metaphysical spiritual experiences through the use of hallucinogenic substances like LSD is because these substances basically take out the programs in our mind. They provide a temporary pathway for this cosmic energy to be interpreted through a different source, through a fresh screen. The simple fact is, these substances affect our consciousness. Our consciousness is just that. It's our consciousness. So it should be our choice of what we choose to do with our consciousness, as long as we're not affecting somebody else in a negative way, as long as we're not forcing our impressions, forcing our experience onto another. In fact, we should each be allowed to choose to create our own experience, whether that involves the use of psychedelics or drugs or not, whether that involves the use of a beer, whether that involves the use of eating meat, whether that involves the use of smoking a cigarette.
My mother is so prejudiced about cannabis. She thinks I'm a junkie, but it is not very nice. For me it's a medicine. Okay, it's also something about partying, but I have to find a balance in that.
But it is a medicine for you.
Yes, and you found some articles yesterday.
I found that out, and I'm even less stressed about you smoking as I was before.
Knowledge is power. Welcome to Realityportal.
Mr. Tarpley, he is the author of George Bush, the unauthorized biography, which was published in 1992, which revealed the role of Prescott Bush, which is the grandfather of the current President of the United States. He revealed the role of Prescott Bush in the rise of Hitler. His current book is 9/11 Synthetic Terror. It's made in the USA. It's published by progressivepress.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Webster Tarpley.
My finding is that the 9/11 attacks were what the British would call an own goal in soccer, an own goal of the American intelligence agencies.
More and more people, it seem to think that the official version of 9/11 didn't happen. There was more than 50% of New Yorkers that believe that the government themselves are involved in the happening of 9/11. He confirms involvement by American government in the 9/11 atrocities.
This false flag operation is a technique to bring the populations behind the governments in their fight against Muslim terrorism. And Muslim terrorism doesn't mean anything. It's oil and it's bases for military aircraft. It's influence or geopolitical choke points in order to keep China under control.
When you start to investigate those things, loads of things will open up to you.
And in a way, it could be quite obvious that they would create such a situation themselves to be able to release these laws onto the people.
How is AIDS even possible? How is conflict possible? How is war possible? How is 9/11 possible? Whether it was the CIA that created it or whether it was really terrorists.
What was this book?
Well, so yeah, the doctor injected himself with the HIV virus to prove that it did not cause AIDS. Virus means?
And what do you believe? You checked all these books about AIDS and HIV?
No, I'm not sure what it is, but I know there's not a lot of truth about it in the public domain. So, yeah, lots of different opinions.
That's why it's an epidemic. Or
Mhm. Maybe it's an
it.
epidemic because people make money on selling drugs.
Exactly. But it's an epidemic because they've made it that way.
Yeah, this book, I can recommend that as well. Because this is from a guy who, first was, went to Harvard. He's got all his things, public health expert. And he basically starts investigating all these claims about AIDS and how something very strange about AIDS, especially in the fact that it simultaneously arose in the gay scene in New York and somewhere in deep Central Africa, at the same time. And when you read this book, it becomes pretty clear that diseases like that, just like SARS, are just created and then
man-made,
let loose,
in a laboratory,
and then just sort of tested.
And it could be made in America then, it's the thing.
Yeah, that's America's the most likely. This whole AIDS industry with the AZT, that's bullshit as well. It costs way too much money and it has all sorts of side effects, which it's like, okay, right, so you don't get the suffering of AIDS, but you get the suffering of the so-called cure that we have for it, so.
HIV equals AIDS, ? Thousands of scientists in the world believe that HIV does not cause AIDS. Yeah, you heard right. They believe that the ruling AIDS hypothesis, because that's what they say, it's only a hypothesis, not proven. And among those people there's Nobel Prize winners. Carrie Mullis is one of them. And this book was also very interesting. What was this then? This is Life, Love, Alien Encounters, Crazy Carrie. Interesting book. From cloning to HIV, global warming to astrology, and the O.J. Simpson trial to a method for turning on the light bulb.
Get your boomerang, get your boomerang. Life is cause and effect. Life is a chain reaction. Life is cause and effect. Life is a chain reaction. Life is to give what you get and to get what you give. As a matter of fact, it is. Once you master this fact, you will become a master. You know how to act and what you can expect. You'll be happy to catch the boomerang coming back. So throw a boomerang, give it all the love you get. Get your boomerang, get it back increased by 10. Throw a boomerang, for the joy from out your heart. Get your boomerang, you'll get back a piece of art. Chain reaction, life is cause and effect. Life is a chain reaction. Life is to give what you get and to get what you give. As a matter of fact, it is. Like a boomerang, you receive what you put out. Like a boomerang, that's what life is all about. Like a boomerang, it will come straight back to you. Like a boomerang, so be careful what you do. Life is cause and effect. As a matter of fact, it is chain reaction. I wanna know you better. I just wanna hold you better.
germs land.
Love yourself. Love yourself. Love.
What is the best thing in the whole world?
I don't know.
When you look at somebody and when you smile at that person and that person gives you a smile back. It is.
Words about love. Words about talk. Words about death. Words about destruction. Words about destruction. There's nothing good that comes from war.
The idea of America as a true democracy is a fiction. It's not really a reality.
Well, the CIA controls the drug trade in the United States. It's many better books than mine came to the same conclusion.
So all those tens of thousands of millions of people that are incarcerated as an effect of the American war on drugs that's imported to so many people and so many countries is just a bogus.
Yeah.
Mariana Magazine. Check out their celebrity stoners. And then you'll see everyone from Roger Dangerfield to Bill Murray, to Chevy Chase, to Juliette Lewis, to Oliver Stone, to Richard Pryor, to Hugh Downs, Aaron Sorkin, inspired by drugs, to Michelle Phillips. We should let everyone smoke it, she says. And to Sarah and Donna Robbins, helping out hempsters. And Ed Harris says pot changed his life. And Michael Madsen, really baked. Tom Robbins, pot-loving author. And Goldie Hawn family seem to smoke together. And Julia Roberts gets sleepy by dope. And Melanie Griffith thinks her son is a pot addict. Brad Pitt and Matt Damon, hey man, do you know where I can score? Ben Affleck and Pelopes, they do it. And this guy, George Carlin, saluting the benefits of a big joint. Demi Moore, getting high since he was a teen. Matthew McConaughey, busted with bongs and bongos. Bruce Willis caught with a joint behind his ear.
Men jag menar liksom, varför är självmords liksom, raten så här?
No, come on. No, seriously.
I don't
Answer
think
the
so.
question. What do you think?
I don't think so.
Come on, no. What is it about techno music which is a bad thing?
Så, du lägger ner den där och så kommer du med. Ta bort tänderna.
Vänta här.
Ta bort tänderna.
Jag jobbar på uppdrag i en dokumentär här.
Ja, just nu.
Istället för
Filmar
vanligt
du
så
då?
Ja.
mysigt.
Det känns bara lite som att folk vågar inte ha kul.
Får man inte ha kul i Sverige?
Nej, tydligen inte.
Vad händer om man har kul?
Då åker man fast. Jag hade en tjejkompis och hon tog en halv ecstasy och skulle just gå hem. Och var absolut inte under okontroll eller någonting. Och de tog henne och hade inne på polisstationen hela natten. De frågade ut henne, de var elaka mot henne och du vet, jag vet inte, hon ringde mig 9 på morgonen och var helt förstörd. Och jag menar, om de tycker det är bra, om de tycker det är ett sätt att få slut på folk som kommer ut för att ha kul, då tycker jag det är helt fel.
Vad är det som har hänt? Jag håller på en dokumentär, vad som händer.
Du, har du problem eller?
Om jag har problem? Ja, vad då för problem?
Jag vet inte, jag frågar dig.
Jag håller bara på att filma lite.
Jag ser det.
Ursäkta, vad håller du på med för någonting? För jag filmar du. Jag håller på att filma.
Du får skärpa till dig.
Men jag undrar vad jag håller på med.
Ja.
Det är något bråk här ute, säger de.
Ja,
För att jag håller på att göra en dokumentär här, så går du igenom mina fickor. Det är väldigt intressant, eller hur? Du har inte visat ett ID-kort för mig och du går igenom mina fickor. Jag har inte tillåtelse till det. Hallå, lägg av mig, vad håller ni på med? Får jag se er ID-kort? Ni har inte visat... Hallå, jag var som journalist, vad håller ni på med för någonting? Du rör inte den här kameran.
Jag tycker ändå att det är lite upp till folk att välja som de vill. Jag menar, för folk får dricka om de vill. Hur mycket som helst och se ut hur fula som helst. Men om folk är ute för att ha kul, om de inte skadar någon annan, då är det väl inget fel, tycker jag. Men det här är nästan som ett krig. Okej, du din jävel, du har kul, du ska fan få betala liksom. Jag menar, har de haft tråkigt i barndomen? Det är därför de har det så jävla kul att stoppa folk så mycket. Just när jag åkte, då hade jag musik färdigt och allting och jag bara åkte ner. Jag hade 1 pund när jag blev signad, så jag menar, det är som Madonna står.
Helt okej alltså. Antingen är det jag eller pillerna eller festen, alltså jag vet inte. Jag kan inte pilla på det just nu, men det är konstigt. Alla dras för. Måste faktiskt vara med.
Hur känns det att ha såna här hår?
Bäst.
Är det så?
Ja, det gör det. Annars har jag inte haft det i 1 år. Jag har bara mått bäst. Jag mår bättre. Och folk kommer fram varje dag. Spelar ingen roll om jag är liksom städad eller inte, alltså ute på party eller inte. Jag ser likadant i alla fall. Alltid får bra kommentarer, varje dag.
Vad skönt.
Ja.
Så du sprider bra vibrationer?
Ja, till och med sur såskärring så att jag blir glad när jag ser dig. Och du fattar du vad det krävs för det?
Verkligen. Kul. What do you think about cannabis? Cannabis! Yeah. It's for 3 years old. You did.
Imagination is reality.
If they find cannabis in your blood, they're going to take your passport. It's a new law they want to have.
Yeah?
Did you hear that? In Sweden.
Oh, Amsterdam is okay. Come to Amsterdam, everyone. Woo!
This is the people your parents warn you about. And I don't think they look pretty dangerous. So what do you think? Do you think we should put all those people in prison? Or do you think we should let them do their own little thing? It's up to you. What do you think about the war on drugs?
Free drugs. If you have free drugs, the world can be more peaceful.
Yeah, the world could be more peaceful.
Yes.
Thank you. Here, man, in cages. It's the best thing. It grows for free in the world. It's so you can use it for medicinal, for anything, man. Cars could even drive on it, but they better drive on water. But if you want to buy this, you go to jail. If you want to buy tobacco, if you want to buy sugar, if you want to buy coffee, it's all profitable. You make some taxes. We just want to pay taxes for this too. Why not? And have information available for people to use it, because ignoring that drugs are being used is being blind, and blind vision is no vision.
I felt it was just kind of funny. I didn't really know what was going on. So I had to go along with it.
Psychedelic. It is very psychedelic. And life is colorful. Was it the colorful one has experienced? Absolutely. It was the best thing I experienced. If I would die now, I would be happy because I have experienced death. So and I'm not afraid at all. I will never be afraid of death.
Your entire family who smokes together?
Just no, not until they were grown. Didn't tell the children we smoked until they were grown.
Yeah, I used to get in a lot of trouble with smoking pot.
We busted her regularly.
A lot.
We're now on a war on terrorism, and like the war on drugs, it's being used as an excuse to take away individual rights and liberties. And when we go behind the scenes, when we look, we find the same players involved in both the terrorism and in the drug run.
9/11. Did you know that the week before 9/11 there were heavy insider trading?
CBS News says the attacks were so bad that they were noted a day the alarm bells were going off.
Our fourth question. To Harvey Pitt, who headed the Securities and Exchange Commission in New York, das ist die Börsenaufsichtsbehörde, and to Ernst Weltecke of the German Bundesbank, and to financial investigators in Tokyo, London, Hong Kong, Frankfurt, Chicago, and San Francisco. In the days immediately following September 11th, your offices all issued statements that you had located cases of massive insider trading on the stock markets, suggesting specific foreknowledge of the attacks, their location, and the way in which they were carried out. Mr. Weltecke called this evidence unmistakable and said it would ultimately lead back to the perpetrators. Investigations were supposedly started. After a few days, this story was never heard from again. Where did the investigations lead?
Yeah, this is really shocking because the traces lead straight back to themselves.
What if everybody knows and then what? Okay?
I'd like to take that. That's a good question, and what it needs to be done here is you can all do something. If all of you leave here tonight that have access to the internet, and you talk to hundreds of people on the internet over a month, if you would go and send the same message to everyone, and don't get as a spam or something, but don't get, send it out to everybody you know, and send them to the website of the reopen911.org. Let them sign the petition, let them read about it, and tell them, if you only send it to 20 people, and tell them to send it to 20 people 4 times, that's 800,000 more people. And I'm sure each one of you have more than 20 people on your website. And if we spread the word, that's the only way it's going to work. But if you just go home and say, and if we spread the word, that's the only way it's going to work. But if you just go home and say it's great and I learned or I knew, boom, it's not. We need your help. And we need your help to everyone in Europe and in the United States coming to get off their duff and speak out, because we've been lied to, deceit. It's a disgrace. 3,000 people were murdered, and certain people should be in jail for murder and treason. Thank you.
Why didn't fighter planes intercept the hijackers? Maybe simply because they were told not to do that, so America could have their new Pearl Harbor, as was being told and pre-ordered in the PNAC, Project for New American Century, little note a year before 9/11 happened. Cool, huh?
The tragedy of September 11th is the most significant event of our lifetimes, and I'm proud being here in the forefront for finding the truth of September 11th. I will address you about the critical issues rather than critical crimes of our times, the events and cover-ups of September 11th, the taking away of rights in September 11th, and the illegal war in Iraq. We must have, as called for by Jimmy Walter, an International September 11th Truth Commission. I am suing the President of the United States, George Bush, Vice President Cheney, former President Bush, and 53 other defendants for treason and murder. It's our position there's a mob in the White House, and yes, we're going to get them. I stated that Congress created RICO. Yes, Congress that today is violating their oath of office by not holding impeachment proceedings now against George W. Bush and Dick Cheney for the lies about September 11th and weapons of mass destruction that got us into the illegal war against Iraq. Congress spent $65 million in investing Clinton and only $15 million with a deadline to investigate the murder of 3,000 people. Yes, the murder of 3,000 people from nations all around this world. The Bush administration has done more to diminish individual rights than any other administration in the 225 years of our country. With the enactment of the following, the Bush administration has taken away rights. The Stabilization Act, it was passed right after September 11th, within days after, 2 weeks. It made it so individuals injured or for family members who died from the terrorists could receive money for the first time in history from the United States Treasury on the condition that they would not sue the airlines, the Port Authority of New York, or the United States government. You know what we call that? Hush money.
I live in exile because I spoke up. You can see here in my car, the windshield was smashed. Police and the FBI refused to investigate. I got death threats. We know who did it. The police told the guy, don't do it again. Anybody who tells you that America is fighting for freedoms, its freedoms, is a liar.
The Patriot Act 1, the taking away of rights, which is an attack upon the Bill of Rights of the United States, the foundation of principles that people around the world wanted to follow. Today, the United States government could take away me. They could put me in jail saying I'm a subversive, attacking the federal government, put me in prison, not allow me to speak to another attorney. Outrageous, isn't it? But that's the law now, passed by the Bush administration. If you're color-coded red, which I would have gotten, I couldn't fly on another plane in the United States. 1984, ladies and gentlemen, is becoming a reality today. We're dealing with crimes. We're dealing with perjury, conspiracy, cover-up. Number 7, the owner of the building admitted it was a controlled demolition. Security, Marvin Bush, the president's brother, and Wirt Walker III, a cousin, they were principals in security company that took care of the World Trade Center. Many of you probably didn't even hear about that.
I think it is basically, if you start meditating, I think it's very good to just be with the body sensations and don't react to them.
I have already taken 15 days course of the Vipassana Meditation Center. That's 3 years ago.
What happened then?
Till that time,
yeah.
I had to keep silent. I have to only thought about my minds. If you do that, yeah. Thereafter you will feel about your heart. About your heart. You will feel about your heart.
And if more people would take Vipassana course, do you think it would change this planet?
Yeah. That not only will, that will be completed. That will be completed. Completed. That will be completed.
Jag vet inte ens om det var rätt pengar.
Okej.
Gammal deda.
No more.
Gammal.
I have no more.
Alright. No.
Okej. Stackare.
Jag måste säga det. Jag väntar på honom.
Ja. Han skulle kunna hjälpa dig. Kan inte göra.
Och berätta att de kommer inte spela.
Ja, det kommer inte till.
Regular people are learning, and not so regular people are learning more and more about how power works and how they're being lied to. So what do? They have to come up with more visible, obvious, horrible, awful pretext to inspire people to go to war, which is why those planes hit the Pentagon and the World Trade Center. By the way, the one that hit the Pentagon hit 50 minutes after the two World Trade Towers. It's just impossible that the American air defenses would allow that to happen. It's the most heavily defended building in the world, and there are no pictures of a plane hitting the Pentagon.
Our neighbor in the city, she was in the tower when, in the World Trade Center 1, when World Trade Center 2 was hit, and it was all around us, so we couldn't walk outside without smelling it, literally for months, so we were personally affected. So then you have questions.
Yeah.
And when we found out that you have tape?
Mm-hmm.
When I started researching it and that question was raised, there are no pictures of a plane hitting the Pentagon. You wonder, with all the security cameras in Washington, D.C., and all the security cameras on the thruway that the planes had to fly over, and all the security cameras at the hotels in the area, and all those security cameras and all that film was seized within a couple of hours
by FBI.
Yeah, and there's no pictures of that. You just wonder. There's just
action talks louder than words.
Yeah.
Realityportal really do recommend Guerrilla News Network. Sundance Documentary Festival awarded Guerrilla News Network GNN.TV. 9/11.
Of American Airlines Flight 77, which departed Dulles and was crashed into the Pentagon. The FAA lost contact at 8:50 a.m. However, fighters were not scrambled until 9:24 a.m., a delay of over 30 minutes.
Now, this sort of direct violation of standard operating procedures is inconceivable without some kind of high-level government approval. Be downgraded, or they would lose their jobs, or something would have happened to correct the situation. But we find that there has been no such reprimands at all.
Unanswered question number 4. How did the administration respond to the failures of the military and intelligence agencies on 9/11?
And the guy who was in charge of the American air defense, the biggest fuck up ever, I suppose you could call it then if you believe the official version, he got promoted.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, to the highest air official rank within the Air Force.
Despite the breakdown under his acting leadership on September 11th, General Richard B. Myers was promoted to chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the highest military post in the country.
A terrorist is somebody who is so desperate, so aggrieved, so deprived of what he or she perceives is the need. Maybe it's religious, maybe it's material goods or whatever it is. But they're driven to a point where there's no opportunity, no alternative but to take an act such as a suicide bombing attack. It's the responsibility of us. We have created situations which drive people to that level of desperation that they give up their own lives, with great courage in my view, to make a statement. Now of course the consequence can be horrific, such as the killing of civilians. But we do that too. I mean, state terrorism is on a much grander scale than individual suicide bombers. We have destroyed cities, we've destroyed thousands of people in our wars and in our bombing of civilian centers.
Yes, but then it's not called terrorism. If America is a terrorist, then it's called something else.
The United States is the greatest rogue state. The United States is a terrorist state on a huge scale. But you're right, it's so big we call it something else, because we can't face the thought that Vietnam was a terrorist attack by the United States on innocent people. The United States has reached an all-high. It's now over 2 million Americans are in jail. Proportionally, the population in jail is much higher for Black and Hispanic people. And this has set off a whole crisis in the sense that those people in the States who are committed as felons can never vote. So over a period of years, you've got 2 million at any one time in jail. They have families outside, when they're going in, when they're in, and when they come out. People estimate there are 40 to 50 million Americans who've had a jail-related experience.
There are signs everywhere to read from people. The signs everywhere in society for what's really going on in reality. If we only open our heart and mind to see all the stupidity, then we can transform reality.
Thrust into the multi-dimensional full spectrum of reality with psychedelics. That originated with LSD, and it fully awakened my art so dramatically from a place of not really doing art to a place of doing this. And it was really a pretty shocking revelation for me to awaken to, and it's just been such an exponential expansion of my infinite creative potential that is bringing me to a place like the Boom.
What interests me fundamentally, it is our consciousness of the world, how we experience the world, and everybody experiences it in his own way.
So that you spoke with Sting.
He's a good friend. He's done a lot of work with ayahuasca down in the Amazon. He writes about it in his autobiography.
And I explored ayahuasca, and it's a very, very powerful, highly transformative experience.
I think it's been unfortunate that a lot of very, very prominent people who got a lot of inspiration from psychedelics haven't been more forthcoming about that.
Everything here is bang on.
Amazing.
Yep, it's just there's not one thing I think, oh, that's kind of cheesy.
Even if they never take a psychedelic journey in their life, even if they never take a trip, if they've met me, they've met what it's like on the other side, you know. And I try to bring a little piece of that psychedelic realm back to the people that may not need the medicine.
So many letters of young people who said, I had no idea, nature had no meaning for me. After LSD, I saw, I became...
Be fearless.
God in the wood, and I saw apes were looking for nature.
Meet the children of the stars.
When you take LSD in the nature...
This is funny. Hip hip hooray.
There's quite a different thing. It's in a dead surrounding.
Yes.
Du vill att jag ska göra så här. It's a hand, so I give you a hand. Literally.
I hope for the ecological question, it's very important to get another consciousness, to see the reality, the wonder of nature. Of nature, not the secondary world which man makes, or the artificial world.
I know that Sting and Tor Amos also have experienced ayahuasca.
Yes.
And a lot of people are awakening to this ancient belief, an ancient way to get more knowledge about humanity.
Absolutely.
And I heard that there's a saying that about the rainforest people, that it should come a time in the future where man would stand on the verge of extinction. And a lot of people believe this is the time. And also they say that then we should look back to the roots again.
Yes.
And this, because there's something those people might have to tell to us.
Well, I believe this is true. I think it's important that people who are in the mainstream, like Sting and Tori Amos, I mean, they bridge mainstream and alternative in a sense by producing music that is still, that has a higher art form than just regular mainstream. It's important that bring these messages back to introduce the awareness of the magic of the plants into the larger reality. But now is a time where we need to connect to the ancient roots, places, experiences, and festivals like Boom, Burning Man, any of these wonderful gatherings of the tribes. They really do an incredible service to humankind by reconnecting and elevating the consciousness.
Spread the seed.
Smassig lussing.
Nej, inte med tobak i.
Larry!
Vad kan det vara i den då?
Smidig ibland.
Du vet att jag är snabb och drar, så jag kan fortfarande kontrollera.
Det är för lite kärlek och konstigt världen. Och det är vi själva som är vår egen normgivare och det har vi glömt bort. Jag tror vi måste träna oss till kärlek och empati och vidsynthet och mod.
Hur kommer det sig att så många är rädda för transkulturen och teknokulturen?
Det är väl en generationsfråga. Sen är ju som allting annat. Det är inte bara transkulturen, det är ju som med all rasism. Det man inte förstår, det är lättare att fördöma än att älska. Så jag tror att det bara handlar om okunskap. Rakt av okunskap.
Det är för lite kramar på jorden.
Ja, det är det.
Vi funderar på att köra igång riktig kram.
Ja, precis. Kör igång allting så det blir en stor jävla kram och hela skit.
They hated the music. They hate the music more than anything else. They said that only people who listen to music like this take drugs.
And that you take as an excuse to raid the place.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, do what you want, but don't get in trouble for that, my thing.
Ursäkta mig, hallå? Det här är en razzia. Det här är en kontroll av alla människor. Lägg in i golvet. Vi ska tända ljuset alldeles strax.
This is the thing, that's why I don't want to be in Sweden, you know, because that's...
Not right now, I don't talk about the fucking year right now.
This is very interesting that they treat people like this. This is just because they're playing techno music at this place. They're doing like this.
Really?
Yeah, just because they play techno music here. They do like this.
Why techno music? Why is techno music bad?
No.
Come on. No, seriously, think.
I don't think so.
Come on. What is it about techno music which is a bad thing? Så, är det bad? Och så kommer du med. Ta bort tänderna.
Vänta här.
Ta bort tänderna.
Jag jobbar på uppdrag i en dokumentär.
Ja, just nu. Quiet, live up a little bit more. Yeah. A little bit more. Party.
Yeah, they can't play trance music in Sweden anywhere.
It's not possible.
No, the police comes then.
That's fucked.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be democracy.
This is in the middle of the city. They have a techno party outside. Could you have that in Sweden?
I think not.
Okay. What do you think about this party here?
That's okay.
You like that? Because in Sweden they can't have techno parties anywhere.
Well, I don't know. I live here, not in Sweden.
Yeah.
So every day you have to come here, I think.
Yeah. Escape before it's too late. You know you have to go. Or stay and see how it changed. Even though you don't know why it's so. Tear gas cannons were shooting against the dancing people. Shooting tear gas at the people in the Czech Republic rave party. Helicopters. Tear gas bomb. They're shooting into the dancing audience. This is how they treat rave people in Czech Republic. Military vehicles against ravers in Czech Republic. Warning sign, warning sign. It looked like a battlefield. Hundreds of tear gas bombs were being shot. That more than 5,000 peaceful, dancing people coming together for a free rave that was approved by the mayor in this town, and it was on rented ground. And thousands of policemen came and hundreds of hurt people.
That's your chance. Don't wait up, I don't know if I'll be back. The war in Afghanistan, it doesn't seem to matter whose blood they spill. They love to live and they live to kill. Don't wait up, I don't know if I'll be back. They're sending us the war down in Iraq. It doesn't seem to matter whose blood they spill. They love to live and they live to kill. Mom and Pop, I sure miss you a lot. I sit in my cot, looking at the pictures I got. It's sizzling hot, outside they're licking off shots. And Georgie boys back home thinking of plots. I guess Colin Powell told them throw in the towel. And when they didn't, kill them all, over and out. So they kid us up in camo, fill us up with ammo. Send us in the desert to start killing them like Rambo. And I don't really know and trust, I just do what I'm told. I'm a soldier, I must stop. Spend vendetta from friendly fire. The whole situation is making me hurl. Old babies murdered, saving the world. All the men that
Shut him! Yes, shut him now! You are the motherfucking cowboy! Shut him! Shut him! You just cowboy with the motherfucking boot! Yo! Yo! You got the motherfucking best boot! Fuck off! Big head! Come on! Listen to My father! My father is very difficult. It's I have made nothing. I have made nothing.
Let's go. Nazar. Ale tady teďka se bílej kámošem a jdete si žít, že se policajtů do něj bije.
European Coalition for Just and Effective Drug Policies herewith condemns the police razzia against the Czech Tech event, a free techno party held in Takov region, Czech Republic, on 30th of July, and calls upon all European citizens to raise their voice against the criminalization of dance events in general.
This reality, man.
What is the best thing in Amsterdam? What is the people there? What is the best thing?
Toilet can.
Amsterdam Magic City.
Magic City.
Magic people. Magic. I'm from Russia.
In Sweden now, they want to, if you test positive for cannabis in your urine, they want to take your passport from you. That's a new law they want to have. What do you think about this?
I think it's terrible. Marijuana has been around since the biblical times. They couldn't take it away because it's a natural substance.
Why do you think they're so afraid? So they want to take passport from people?
Closed-minded, maybe. They need to maybe open their mind.
God, I farted now. I'm sorry.
Really, in Sweden?
Yeah, they want to do that now.
It's ridiculous.
Again, the new law. Sweden is the best in all of the new laws, isn't it?
Yeah, if they have cannabis in your blood in the future, they want to take your passport and mobile scooter from you.
Oh, this is very nice. I never knew that a country that was so liberal in being naked around each other that these fucking fascists. I don't think there's any more country that's more fascist than Sweden. Good luck.
Gay before it's too late. You know, you have to go. You get to go.
Fucking You must to smoke. That's all.
In France, now it's making a new law. If they find some cannabis with you, they can get your motor bicycle.
But not if you have a Rolls Royce, I suppose. Not if you will have a Rolls Royce, then they wouldn't take it.
It's an attack on the individual. It's not up to the government or the church or a community or wherever you live to make a choice about this. I think it's always upon yourself. To smoke is just like having a beer, you know? Only because alcohol has now been socially adapted, you know, into the culture. Same as tobacco and coffee. It's the same thing. I don't think running away is the solution. I think you should stand up for your government stand up because every Swedish person, just like me, in Holland has a right. You must stand up and make it maybe the same way, the way it is in Holland. Stand up for your right.
Stand up for your right.
It's time to fight. You have a right, man.
Yeah.
Human rights, even smoking, for sure.
Cocaine has been researched from a plant which grows in Africa. It's called iboga.
Yeah.
This plant is quite well known from 100 years.
Yeah.
They have even made medicine from
Yeah.
it. Ibogaine is helping people to get rid of the addiction.
Yeah.
From alcohol or from heroin. Some research has been made which seems to prove that 60% people are having positive results. Studied already 40 years ago or 30 years ago. Why do things are going so slow concerning ibogaine?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It seems like some discovery are being taken very serious and other discovery not.
The future of LSD is going to be a very important and crucial medicine for the soul. I'm eternally grateful to Dr. Hoffman. Perhaps with the mature use of the psychedelics, we can become a responsible species.
Nicht wirklich. Guckt euch den Film an. Ich bin, jetzt nichts mehr. Ich bin eine ganz wir werden jetzt mal noch hier
torture might be too strong, but I would say it's close to torture. It's a new kind of weapon. They call it a non-lethal weapon. It's going to be used in policing. It's going to be used in all kinds of big gatherings now. And you can see it. You'll just start to see it. They mount them on like Humvees, at least at the Republican convention. It's like a flat, almost like a flat satellite dish. And they can just direct this pointed at people to tell you what to do. Send it so that your friend doesn't hear it, but you hear it. You don't know where the sound is coming from. There's not a guy with a bullhorn that you could shout back at.
Meet the children of the stars. See the truth, we are one.
It's an incredible time to be alive. You have the opportunity to fully awaken to the full spectrum of our consciousness. Living our life is art. So that's what I'm here to do with that's my mission, that's my vision, is to just be a bright, luminous star and not subdue my brilliance, because I fear of outshining anyone, but to be a light of inspiration by entering into these multidimensional states and bringing back inspired images, inspired by inspiration itself. And that's what my art is pointing to. It's what, there's an art movement that's emerging, and it's seen in festivals like Burning Man and The Boom, and just like so many translations of this like amped levels of like infinite creative potential. It's fractally exponentiating to like levels that to the dull sleepwalking mind is gonna, if they had even eyes to see it, the time is now. Time is eternally now, and it's the only moment that's ever been and ever will be is here now. We have the opportunity to be totally free of all of our social conditioning, all of our conceptual frameworks of mind, and be free through art. making your life an art project.
Let's get people started. What's your name?
Mark Cummings.
And what are you doing in the world today?
Well, I'm from San Francisco and I've come to the Boom Festival to communicate some breakthroughs that are happening in science that totally recontextualize our science and enable science to embrace and be congruent with the spiritual wisdom traditions of the world that have a much more open-ended view of the nature of reality and the sentient consciousness, spirit-based nature of reality than the general scientific paradigm. And this largely comes about through a revolutionary breakthrough that's happened in science that has actually disclosed to us this space is not empty. This space is actually a highly energetic medium of infinite energy density and containing enormous radiance, boundless luminosity, and that space is the very substance of mind or pure awareness. The space is a sentient medium of infinite potential.
Your own thing.
Yeah.
Your own thing, any way you can do it.
Being inspired by John Lennon to do similar piecework would be good if more people.
Piecework is great, yeah, absolutely. You should do that.
You know the band Imagine. In American radio, they can't play this song.
Really?
It was too peaceful on Clip Radio Network. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Santa Maria. If it loves equal truth, everything else is illusion. I called out, and I received an answer from the universe in the form of these thoughts that were coming to me. I felt tearful, like, tears of joy.
Well, I mean, it's interesting, but it's not really my personal interest.
No.
I need more cosmic things to...
Yeah, you don't like so much gay sex with animals. It's not your thing.
Nah, not really.
I accidentally had sex with the dog once, actually, but it wasn't my intention. Yeah, I was sleeping in someone's house and I was waking up having this wet dream and there was a dog between my legs. And what should I do? And it actually did feel good, so... But Yeah, but I'm not worse as a human for this.
And God has made it clear that there is no form and no manner in which the expression of a love which is pure and true is inappropriate.
Oh, here's a young monk being stimulated by a younger male. This is really things people have no idea about.
Yeah.
It's really funny. Because people say, oh, it's not natural, animals don't do it, but now we know they do.
Exploring otherness.
Yeah.
Otherness.
Yeah. But a love that's pure and true can be proven in a number of ways.
You want one of my tooth?
One?
Yeah. Well, so maybe on my tooth it is.
Not the least of which is that it does never harm anyone. It produces damage to no one.
So if you have even gay kinky sex, that's fine with God.
Absolutely, as long as it doesn't harm. I mean, you have gay kinky anything. Gay kinky anything.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Interesting.
Gay kinky anything. Gay kinky sex. Gay kinky music. Or kinky anything. I mean,
Very interesting.
You know, in Sweden, where I'm from, in a porno shop, they can't even show anything.
In Sweden, no?
No. What do you think about this? Is it nice when you can see things?
No, we don't like it.
You don't like it?
No.
In Sweden, they only have a text porno shop. They don't show anything what's inside.
Ah, okay, that is Amsterdam here.
Yeah. But you think it's okay that people can see everything?
No.
So you would like it to be like in Sweden, maybe? Okay. But what do you think about people smoke cannabis in Holland? People smoke cannabis in Holland.
It's not good.
It's not good. Is it the same as alcohol, or do you think it's different?
I think it's the same.
It's the same. So alcohol is not so good either?
No.
Okay, but you drink sometimes?
No.
Never? Okay.
No smoke, no alcohol.
But you have erotic things?
Yes, it's true.
That's nice. That's really nice. Okay, good luck, thank you. True love.
So what? I'm a big fat hound. I love gay men. Yes, I love gay men. I love cock. You love cock. I love cock
too.
Yes, we love cock.
We love cock together.
love cock. We love men. I am a gay man in a woman's body.
I am a gay man and a gay man.
Yes.
But what do you think will happen? I heard oral sex is forbidden in Florida or some places.
What?
Oral sex in America is forbidden in some places.
I don't know. Not that I know of. Not if I can help it.
No.
I suck cock till I die.
And how is the biggest dick you sucked? How big is that?
Oh God, probably like that big. But I couldn't deep throat it.
Oh God,
I couldn't deep throat it, but I couldn't. I was only like that much. But I can deep throat.
The trick is that you have to swallow.
Yeah, I know. Do you deep throat?
Yeah.
I ram it down and you can feel my fucking tonsils just rip open, but it's working. I love cock.
Then we have something in common.
Yes, we do.
What is the name of your movie?
I'm David Devine.
This is you?
That's me.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay, I wish you all the best with your career.
Yes, I'm a big fan hound. All my friends are gay, and we love dick, that's why we all hang out.
That's true.
Yes, we're sluts.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a slut.
Yes,
okay.
we need that dick.
We need sluts. Goodbye, thank you. Rather big dildo.
Yes. It's good decoration, but it's also, I mean, I do have clients who can take this anally.
So you force masculine straight men with the dildo in ass?
Oh yes, there's a lot of. I mean, most of the people that come here are straight, and they still like a woman to fuck them in the ass, basically. So I've got lots of dildos and toys and.
Is that apfelsaft? Apfelsaft.
Yeah.
Or
Urine.
It's urine, yeah. It's good, actually. If you drink your morning urine,
Yeah.
that's good.
It does, yeah, I think.
A lot of people that drink alcohol, of normal people, also have a lot of anger because they feel captured in society in a way.
It was not just Hitler. Let's be clear here that the real tragedy was not that a single man like Hitler came along, but that so many millions went along. People in his own country, as well as people around the world, who simply by apathy and by doing nothing allowed the Hitler experience to express itself in the way that it did. It's incomprehensible that Hitler was allowed to do what he did for so long.
And no one reacted.
And no one reacted. And not only that, but many people, and I'm not talking about a small number, I mean millions of people in his own country, not only didn't react, they actually reacted favorably to what he did. Now, I ask you this question. If a man stands up in a stadium with 50,000 people in it, and he spouts insanities, and everybody in the stadium salutes him and cheers him, where does the insanity lie? At the podium or in the audience? So if Hitler is guilty, then millions of people are guilty. Then half the world, which turned away in apathy, is guilty. So there's enough guilt to go around, but perhaps the truth is that nobody's really guilty in the classic sense of the word. Perhaps the truth is that the belief systems held by millions and millions of people, including Hitler, are the driving force and the motivating energy that made such travesties, such horrors possible.
And could it happen again?
Of course it could happen again, and it is likely to happen again. It's happening again in small ways, we already know.
So it's all about pretext for war. You know, we had Tonkin Gulf incident in Vietnam where we were attacked by Phantom North Vietnamese. We had the sinking of the Maine for the Spanish-American War. We had Pearl Harbor. Now, Pearl Harbor is a more visible pretext, okay? And it was now been recently revealed. It's been revealed that Roosevelt said, what can you do to the Japanese Empire to get them to attack first? Okay, we need them to attack us first. So they sabotaged shipping, they blockaded, they did a lot of things.
The short-term solution to the world's foment may be a new social structure, a new worldwide government. There have been those leaders among you who have been insightful enough and brave enough to propose the beginnings of such a new world order. George Bush, whom history will judge to be a man of far greater vision and wisdom and compassion and courage than contemporary society was willing or able to acknowledge, was such a leader. I don't make a judgment about him or what his motives were or what he's doing or was doing. I only wrote down in the book what I received, what was sent to me, and I tried not to make a judgment about it. Whether I thought it was believable or not, I put it in the book because that's what I received.
Regular people don't go to war. They don't like it. It's not fun for them. They're the ones who end up dying and starving and being disease-ridden and losing their children. So regular people don't do that. Power elites do that, okay? And they need to inspire regular people to do that. And that is the fucking fact. And it's been the fact throughout time.
And I think it's amazing when somebody actually stands up and say, you know, we have something to say, we have a view of life. And you can see like Michael Moore in America, who just did the documentary Fahrenheit 9/11 about George Bush and that administration. It's so important that we see things like this and that we actually, you know, meet people like this.
All military people have promoted the use of alcohol. Maybe not during the heat of battle, of course, but at all other times for controlling the minds.
So
and psychedelics is anti, and become more aligned with maybe Mother Nature. Whereas alcohol is a drug that will cause people to fall into line, march to the rhythm, and let their minds be taken by an overall theme. Be it our country's great, or that other guy's an asshole, or whatever it is. And there's so many ways to find the answer for yourself. It should be allowed for everybody to search how they will, but it also goes with how people have a relationship with each other. If people are free, truly free to act on their own and how they feel, then you have no hostility.
The last point I know of that I remember, that was at a party in August 2001, and I go to parties almost every weekend. So that kind of tells you, compared to, I mean, go out on a regular Friday night or Saturday night in Sweden, wherever you go, you will see guys beating up each other. They have too much to drink, too much testosterone, too much insecurity. It's like beating up one after the other.
When you lived in Sweden for many years ago, you were right-wing skinhead or something like that.
Yeah. I Protestant period of my life. I don't know, you kind of get sucked into it. I mean, I think all kinds of extremism, no matter which extremism it is usually founded on ignorance. I mean, ignorance comes from you just don't know better. But by seeing more things, experiencing more things, you realize that there isn't one truth. Things aren't black and white. Things are gray. Blame it on whatever. Insecurity, the same thing. Young, stupid insecurity, testosterone, I don't know. Everybody evolves. Think about concrete and like the ground.
You used to beat down gay guys like that?
Yeah. Nothing I'm proud of.
Okay.
I'm proud of it, but I don't hide it either. But by telling people about my experience and what I've been through, hopefully somebody will learn from it and not do the same things.
Why did you kick other people?
Good question. Fucking excellent question. I have no idea. Today, I don't know.
Life is very good in Amsterdam. For an American, it's very special. It's funner. It's funner to live here. It's funner to live.
Live. Som holländare, vad var den största skillnaden mellan Sverige och Holland, märkte du när du var där?
Jag märkte på en pub att när jag pratade om att jag hade rökt marijuana några gånger i livet, att folk sa okej. Nästa gång sa jag att jag hade rökt någon gång. Gången efter sa jag att jag hade aldrig rökt någon gång. Det gick bra.
It's been a media blackout. And that's why many, many individuals, like myself, have decided to become the media. Because the corporate mainstream media is not doing its job. It's not telling the whole story. It's not telling the American people the truth. Because it seems to be inconvenient for the sponsors of the current administration. So we make documentary films, we write books, we blog on the internet, we talk person to person, and we hold forums like these. Because we know that democracy can never happen unless we have an informed public. Let's find some of the answers to those unanswered questions. Thank you.
We need to expand our concept of energy to include space itself. Space itself is basically pure, unmanifest energy. And the possibility of understanding how we can translate some of that latent, unmanifest potential energy into usable energy in this dimension may in fact give us a kind of technology that can make fossil fuels obsolete and enable us to tap into the radiant field of the plenum, which we're already tapped into. In fact, it's that very field which is living us right now, enabling us to breathe and enabling us to be aware. Space is aware.
Thank you.
Very well.
And that's reality.
That's the way it is.
So those psychedelic potions and plants, they made you to be more type of your mind to become more visionary mind?
Yeah, activated, seeing things in a new way, and devoted to helping to create space to transform and liberate other people, so they're not caught in the confines of society or fear or limitation.
Is there a lot of fear being spread in the world today?
So much fear about terrorism and not having enough money or not having enough resources, and it's making people really just want to hide and gather all their money and all their stuff and just protect it, hide with it, instead of just sharing it and trying to generate an abundant culture.
Morning! What do you think about Boom? What do you think about Boom Festival?
Very good stuff.
To revitalize this spiritual awareness of abundance consciousness, where we realize that we have more than enough for everybody and that we can help everyone to get whatever they need so that they can do whatever they want.
Well, why isn't it like this today?
How large corporations and businesses and governments are hoarding resources so that they can have way more than everybody else.
My name is Josh Gilbert, and I'm the filmmaker of AKA Tommy Chong.
You pull the military influence, the economic influence out of the economy in the United States and maybe through a lot of parts of the world, then you'd have a collapse.
Nee, hij heeft alleen maar stereo betekent, dus je hoeft niet aan te winnen.
Mips. Oh, it's true. First time I took something like that was crystal meth in LA, 1990, and my penis became 1 centimeter long, and I was totally shocked. Is it speed? Speed. And what does it make you feel if people don't know?
Well, you watch it.
You watch how quick the truck will build. Within splits of seconds, splits of minutes.
Boards and stuff, and there's like the Space Odyssey thing with the electrons and stuff. That'd be fast.
If you mix like speed and alcohol, what happens then?
I don't take speed.
You will not get drunk.
Yeah, You don't get drunk?
So you better not drink. Waste of money. You shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't...
Yeah.
There you go. And there you go.
And the former German defense minister, Andreas von Bülow, claims it was CIA who was involved in making this thing happen.
And I finally found out it can only be an inside operation.
Do you think that could be the truth?
Yeah, definitely. I think if there's politics and there's money, you got a powerful combination for corruption.
Sweden needs a change. You know, Sweden needs to adapt to what's happening around Europe. Really, not just what the U.S. is doing. Sweden seems to be more influenced by U.S. policy and less by what they're seeing around the more tolerant policy around Europe around drugs. You know, that they want to sort of turn back what's happening here in Holland, or they're opposed to it. And so I think, you know, the Swedish government needs to reassess the policy that they have around marijuana, I believe.
The Clear Channel Radio Network, they banned 150 peace songs.
I know that, yeah.
And one of those songs is with John Lennon.
So ridiculous. That was the Fly Like an Eagle. I mean, it was songs that anything about flying anywhere, you know, was bad. So
is this worse than the book burnings from the 30s?
It's a warning, you know.
What would you like to say to all the people who judge people who use cannabis?
Hey, you know, don't judge people who use cannabis, because most of the ones I know are good people and want to be and are productive human beings. And this is reality.
This is the way to make joints in America. This is very fat.
I'm from the West Coast.
Uh-huh.
And on the West Coast, we generally make fatter joints.
See the truth, we are one. See the truth, we are one. Realityportal.
It's a story about a crazy thing that happened because the Bush administration wanted to make a point. John Ashcroft, the Attorney General that arrested Tommy, his nephew in Missouri was caught with 60 plants. 60. And he got probation. It's the difference between having a father who runs the country and having a father that doesn't have a job. Yeah. It's not a democracy. It's not fair.
Cynthia McKinney.
We break stories that are important, that people don't know about, that might be really shocking or revealing, inspire people, but also to teach them how to grow pot, and that we do additional to that. You know, we come up with stories that are really groundbreaking.
When I started going to trans parties, I wasn't so creative at all. I didn't think I had anything creative. Because in school you learn if you're creative you can paint, and I wasn't that good in painting. Yeah? So when I started going to trans parties, I was wearing black clothes, you know.
You did?
Yeah, black clothes with a little hood, everything black.
Väldigt snyggt. This thing you put the dishes in, very nice.
Yeah?
The thing you put the dishes in is so beautiful.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you have photos here.
Look.
Oh, you totally black here.
Yeah, look.
Going to Amsterdam changed your personality also?
Yeah, of course.
It did?
Totally. It didn't change my personality, I just found my personality here. Because before this, you know, I was looking everywhere, trying to find it, but here I found this.
You did?
Yeah, for sure.
Why?
Why?
Yeah.
I don't know, so many people here that gave me so much, you know, I learned so much from people, I learned so much from the drugs I took and everything, so...
But there's so many people afraid of drugs. What would you like to say to them?
But no, it's good to be a little bit afraid of drugs, okay? You should have respect for drugs, but you shouldn't not respect people that take drugs, you know? Because many people that go like, drugs, ew, you know? You're a dirty person.
But they self-drink alcohol or smoke.
Yeah.
Life
chain reaction. Life is to give what you get and to get what you give. As a matter of fact, it is. Once you master this fact, you will become a master. You know how to act and what you can expect. You'll be happy to catch the boomerang coming back. So throw a boomerang, give it all the love you get. Get your boomerang, get it back increased by 10. Throw a boomerang, for the joy from out your heart. Get your boomerang, you'll get back a piece of art.
Mr. President, would you please, the pen didn't work properly the last time. I bought myself a new pen. This one is much better.
You remember Independence Day?
Yeah.
And the guy in Area 51, the scientist, comes up and he says, "Do you want to see one?" That's me. I did it. I worked Area 51 3 years.
Mutilations are perpetrated by extraterrestrial biological entities. That is a statement from law enforcement and our government.
That's not bad.
And when law enforcement says we're dealing with creatures of outer space, I think you have to pay attention. I do it's a hard news website, environment, science, and Real X Files. And I hope that people would find value in a reporter who is trying to report about anomalous subjects from a hard fact point of view.
Have you ever seen or experienced something totally out of the normal yourself lately?
Everybody, I think, has in life. It's just that it is not politically correct to talk about it. And that's why so much happens and everyone is afraid.
Redeyes.net is a really great, inspiring internet site.
No doubt about the existence of life on other planets. There's no question that life in intelligent form exists elsewhere in the universe. And there's no question that those intelligent beings, some of them, have visited this planet. We have been assisted and been given some fundamental technologies by extraterrestrial beings.
Life is beautiful.
€2. Like a beer.
Most policemen laugh if we pass by.
They do?
Yes, they do, so it's not a big problem.
LSD, finger tripping good. Is LSD finger tripping good?
I don't know, not anymore for me. It was. I can't handle it anymore.
You took too much, or?
I took too much, yeah.
You had the Obelix effect.
Yeah. It's no fun anymore.
What was the bad experience then? What happened then?
I think paranoid feeling. It's no good. But I learned a lot from acid, yeah, of course. You get to know yourself. You know, you have to handle yourself in situations where you can't talk, can't do anything, you know. At the time that you cannot laugh anymore, then it's over. Then you took too much. So if you don't respect it, it'll take you, and you won't take it anymore.
Which is your favorite drug of choice?
My only drug of choice is marijuana.
Okay.
The one and the only. It makes me feel good, makes me feel relaxed, makes me enjoy my music.
And the first time you took it, did you feel anything?
I can't remember. Just give it a try, see if it's good for you. If it works for you, it's good. If the alcohol works for you.
And you are preparing the weed, yeah. The weed. Where did you get the weed from now? I tried to get hold of some weed. Smells oil. Very oily weed. Do you take other drugs also?
No, only weed.
Yeah.
Never ever used anything else.
Yeah.
Don't need it. In Holland we say roken is geen onrust stoken. And that means something like when you smoke you don't make riot, when you just chill, take it easy. And people drink and get very, very drunk, can do impulsive, stupid things, and I don't drink, so.
And you live where?
Amsterdam.
So you go all the way to Berlin for doing this?
Yeah, all the way to Berlin to demonstrate and to feel a different vibe and to do something, mobilize, and just show solidarity with people that want something done, and the bigger the impulse, the bigger the effect. So the more people that show, the more things that happen.
It's completely crazy and wrong-headed. The war on drugs never has worked, can't work. It's a false and stupid war, just like most wars.
Some people laugh, some people look strange, and lots of them cry also. So it's normal. Yeah.
This 6-year or maybe older, this old woman who came running after me. She was this tall maybe and grey and stuff, and she asked, "Are you selling some wheat cake and space cake?" Yeah. Okay, I want to have a slice.
It's the THC that's inside.
It's THC
THC that's inside.
with a little bit of lemon, so it's gonna taste like.
Yes. Look at me. The space cake. The space cake. Yes, it's going inside his mouth.
Kevin, really nice one.
Tastes what's
and even 60-year-old women eat this in Amsterdam, so it can't be that bad, I have to say. Since you started liking nails, all your life changed. Hi.
Hi.
Huh? He likes nails. Yeah. What do you like?
Yes.
You like piss?
Yes. You?
That's why. Yeah, sometimes. Yeah. So, are you going to piss now?
Yes.
It's interesting.
Bush family per se, I mean, we can only trace, one of their particular lines. They are related to a family group that has been involved in the drug trade ever since it began. As far as the opium, I mean, the first drug trade was the sugar trade. And then you had the opium trade, and the opium business became the largest business on the planet in the 1830s.
I think it opened up the mind to more possibilities that, whereas before we may be too preoccupied with our normal everyday lives, and herb gives us that ability to still have reality there, but to maybe transcend it and maybe look above the normal everyday fray of life. Yeah.
Already in the summer of 2001, several months before 9/11, Osama bin Laden was already America's most wanted criminal. But he was treated in the American hospital in Dubai in July of that year and visited by the local CIA agent. And of course, Osama bin Laden was originally a CIA operative. We recruited him. He was our man in the war against the Soviets. So there's some suspicion he may still be a CIA agent.
It was Keith when I bought him. He said, I am Keith. I said, okay.
Barnpornografi.
Yes, me.
Child pornography.
But I mean, there are a lot of people who are involved in the creation of the internet and in the music industry and, you know, all sorts of different worlds who really should stand up and just be like, look, this is crucial material that you know, the human species really needs access to these tools and these plants so that we can create a new context for culture.
Hello, this is Oprah. I have tried cannabis.
Do you have a map with you?
I've inhaled, and I like it.
Yeah, a good map. Like a big map.
If you're able to aspire and achieve all your goals and smoke cannabis, hey, why not? What is the drawback?
You have no right to natural foods or plants or medicine. That was only because you have the pharmacotic inquisition. 6 or 8 a day, and I can talk better.
It helped you from the stroke if you take the mushroom.
So it's like an upper then.
There also saw this documentary about a man who took MDMA, and he could suddenly move from his wheelchair and dance.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things that they don't tell us about drugs.
Kiss me, fucking. He is a fucking soul, man.
I'm sitting here listening to you. What the hell? You're taking pills and you want to hit
This
on
is reality at the Cannabis Cup in Amsterdam. We're here with Mr. Jack Herer, a freedom fighter. I only smoke it pure, thank you.
Pure.
Is it pure? God. Can share a joint with. Smoking can be tough for your lungs.
We here because he's the man, for one, but we here because we enjoy what he stands for. He knows that, you know, in order for the revolution to start or to continue, it must start from the past.
Iona has a very good, inspiring internet site she would like to recommend.
Disinformation.com, and they have video materials and other audio visuals. Oh, Deception Dollars. Oh boy, do I have a story about that.
Yeah.
My digital boyfriend and I, and my co-artist, who was the animator for South Park cartoon, last Halloween, we made some digital art and did some filming where I was playing the Bride of Deception. And we threw deception dollars all over the front lawn, and children were running to pick them up because they thought it was real money.
That is the next action. Andreas, just one question. What do you think about the insider trading? The chief of the Bundesbank, what was saying, could lead straight back to the perpetrators. And they started investigating this, and it led back to CIA.
In the American Finance Department, there are FinCEN. It's a kind of secret services, and they have long before organized a unit watching what's going on with trading of stocks. And if some stocks are immediately shooting up or going down, then they say, well, this is a warning sign that something is happening. But and they had a lot of tapes of telephone calls. The lawyers division of the finance ministry said, destroy these tapes. They are destroyed.
That's good.
Yeah.
Do you think that's good that tobacco is legal? When weed is not?
No, it should be the other way around.
Why don't you think Bill Clinton went to jail then if he smoked weed, as he said?
Stop the ignorance. Stop the ignorance.
Hello.
Please legalize, legalize, legalize. If you're rich, yeah, you can take cocaine, everywhere you want. If police see you, you just, okay, I'm fucking rich, man, what do you want? I can just take your phone, you fought for all your life or something. The rich people become more and more rich and the poor people become more and more poor. So there's no middle anymore. You put everything at zero and we start again. It's not even the politician, it's some people behind them. It's just control the world as they want. They are afraid that the people think.
They imported the powdered cocaine from Colombia, Bolivia, Peru, through Mexico, and other places. The powdered cocaine came to Los Angeles, and the gangs turned it into crack. But that's been going on for 300 years. The British sold drugs in China.
They did?
Yeah, and that's how the British financed their empire, was with the drug trade. That
was it
opium?
Opium in China?
Opium, which is the same thing as heroin. It's what they make heroin out of. I mean, there's British greed, there's German greed, French greed, Russian greed. It is, in a sense, a very perverted form of what capitalism should have been. But it's the way money works. And it's not just American, it's the way money works in this world. With the stock markets working the way they are, the world can only operate like a criminal enterprise. The world economy can't. Now, I personally advocate immediately decriminalization of drugs everywhere. The moment you do that, tyrants have no money to do anything else that they do. You shut off their cash flow, they starve.
Something interesting happened with the heroin trade. Maybe you know more about that.
Well, Tony Blair said we're going to go bomb the poppy fields. Well, Tony Blair was lying. Of course, we all know that Tony Blair lies quite frequently. There were no poppies in Afghanistan. The Taliban had destroyed all the opium poppies in Afghanistan in early 2001. The Taliban waged economic war against the West. They took all that money out of the system. And yet the United States and Britain occupied Afghanistan in November of 2001, which is the planting time for the opium crop. And immediately Afghanistan, after U.S. occupation under CIA control, became again the world's largest producer of the opium poppy, and it still is today, supplying 75%. The Taliban had wiped out all the opium, but that was economic warfare against Western banks. The CIA replanted the opium again and control it now, so that the opium now being sold, the money, the profits are going into Wall Street, they're going into the City of London, they're going into Western financial institutions. Unfortunately, madmen are at the levers of control. And it's very easy for me and others to, and we've analyzed this thoroughly, to conclude that someone like Henry Kissinger would sit back and say, well, the problem is not that there is too little oil, the problem is just that there are too many people. So perhaps we should kill 4 billion people. And those are the kinds of answers that are coming up with the madmen running the world the way they are today. So we don't have a lot of time to be nice, to go out. We have to force these issues into public consciousness. People are dying now. We have to force these issues into public consciousness.
You think people are more kinky in Amsterdam?
Yes.
You think so?
You too?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
I lick your ass.
Huh?
I lick your ass.
You want to lick my ass?
Yeah.
Yes.
And what is this little bucket?
Oh, this. Yes, this is like just a little mini bathtub so that we can lie the pets there, and then I can like pee on them and things like that. Because they like having pee all over, and if I don't want to have mess on the floor.
Whatever we do in the world, even if it's urine sex, we can't be worse than the leaders in the world.
I think a lot of the leaders in the world are doing the exact same thing. There's a lot of very kinky people in the world, and it's not limited to caste or age group or anything like that. There's young slaves, there's old slaves. I've had a lot of slaves in Australia who were politicians and big businessmen and things like that. But
Andreas, you really inspired me.
Okay, wonderful.
And I'm from Sweden. In Sweden, they want to take your passport away if you find cannabis in your blood or urine.
Right.
That's a new suggestion. What do you think about that? Would you like to go to Sweden now?
Yeah, sure, why not? Of course. Let's go see the cows.
We love Sweden.
Yeah, sure.
podcast.